Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. So today we are going to discuss the problem from the LeetCode section, which is the buy and sell stock problem. And in the further videos I would be covering all of the buy and sell stock problem 2, 3, 4 and transaction fees, all of the problems. So stick to the playlist and this would give you a better understanding of how do we solve this kind of problems and would help you in getting a better hold of the particular topic we would be discussing in future. So let's start with the problem statement. So the problem statement is saying you are given with an array of prices where price I of the given stock on the i day is given, and you have to find a single day where you can buy a stock and then sell a stock on some another day to find the maximum profit you could achieve during this particular transaction. Okay, now if we see the problem statement, what the problem statement is saying. So the problem statement is saying, let's suppose we are given with this array. Now what they are saying is you buy a stock on ith day and then sell a stock on jth day, where obviously j would be greater than I. Now you have to maximize this profit. You have to find maximize this particular profit that you actually get by after buying and selling a stock. So this is what we call a particular transaction. Now to understand this problem, let's see what the test case is saying. Now if we buy a stock at a value 7 and you sell a particular stock on any value in the future, your profit would always be a negative value, right? Now if we talk about the second, if I move to the second day, if I buy the stock on the second day, then I could only sell it for the values of this here 5, 3, 6 and 4. And the maximum I could attain, profit I could attain is, if I subtract 6 minus 1, that could be 5. Now if I go for 5, the maximum profit I could attain is by 3, 6 and 4. So it would be simply 1 by selling the stock at a value 6. If I talk about 3, the maximum I could attain is 3. For 6, I could maximum that I could attain is negative value only, negative. And for 4, I would not be able to sell the stock, so like we could say it would be something infinite, like negative infinite kind of a thing we could say. Now to see what is the maximum profit I have actually earned. So the maximum profit I've actually earned is the value 5. So this is kind of a brute force approach we have discussed just to get the hold of the question what the problem statement is saying. This is a kind of a brute force approach, and we discussed the time complexity would be big of n square, because for every I we are traversing in the future of n elements and then finding the maximum, so it would be a brute force of big of n square approach. Now we know that we need to simply optimize this particular approach. Now to optimize this particular approach, let's try to think of it in a fashion like, if I'm thinking of selling on ith day, if I'm saying that I'm selling a stock on the ith day, now there is a day, now there is some jth day from 0 to I, from 0 to I to buy a stock. Yes or no? Like if I'm selling a stock on some ith day, then I would have bought the stock on some jth day between 0 to I. Then only I can say the value that my maximum profit would be a of I minus a of j. Right? So this is what my profit would have been. Now if I want to increase this particular value, I know that I have to find the minimum possible value of a of j between 0 to I, right? Now to do that, what I have to simply do is, if we think of what I have to simply do, so I have to find the minimum possible value between 0 to I index for each I. Now if I know this particular value in the optimal fashion, so what I would have done simply is, I would have simply declared an answer variable which is 0, and for each I, it would simply have been answer comma max answer comma a of I minus minimum of I, like the minimum value till I, minimum by value till I. So this could have been a simple approach that we could have used. Now the question is, how do we find this particular value? Now I'm sure you all have read about prefix sums or prefix max, right? Now we could use the similar approach to find the prefix min. This is what I have to exactly do now. We have to find the prefix min. So like this is a simple we could use. Let's suppose I'm sitting on some ith day. Let's suppose the value of some ith day is 6 and I minus 1th is 5. Now for the ith day, I know the answer could either be 5, like I know the minimum till ith day is 5. Now for ith day I could simply say that answer either could be 6 or could be 5, and it would be simply the minimum of both of them. It would simply be a of I comma previous prefix of I minus 1. Yes or no? This is what my prefix of I would look like. Prefix of I, like either it could be this or this could be the minimum coming from here. The minimum of both would give me the prefix of I. Yes or no? Now let's understand this with an example. 7 5. Okay, so if we talk about this particular example, so if we want to make the prefix of this, so like base case would be 7 only. Now for this particular value I have two options, either it would be 1 or the 7. So minimum is 1. Now for 5, either it could be this 1 or the value 5, whichever which is minimum 1, so 1 would come here. Same for 3, 1. Same for 6, it would be 1, and same for 4, it would be 1. Now if we need to find the maximum profit, so 7 minus 7 is 0, 1 minus 1 still 0, 5 minus 1 would be 4, this would be 2, this would have been 5, and this would have been 3. So maximum out of all of these is 5, and 5 is our answer. Now if we say how do we find the prefix min, so it would be simply be prefix of I comma minimum a of I comma prefix of I minus 1. So this is how we would be approaching this problem. And if we talk about the time complexity, so time complexity would simply be big O of n, because we are finding prefix in big O of n, and also plus the added time of finding the maximum profit, so it would be big O of n, and it would be simply be big O of 2n, and it would simply be big O of n. So this approach would work. Now let's see the code as well. Okay, so if I show you the code as well, what I have written. So we have declared an answer variable and the size variable. Now what we are doing is we are finding this prefix min. I'll just expand this code a bit. Yeah. Okay, so what we have done is we are finding this prefix min, right? Prefix of 0 is a of 0, and then we are finding this prefix min. So what the approach we have discussed. Then what we are doing is we are finding the maximum profit. If prefix of I is not equal to int underscore max, then our simply answer would be maximum of this and the selling value minus the bought value I have done, and then finally we are returning the answer. And if we try to submit this problem, yeah, it would get accepted. And so this is how we are solving this particular problem. So I would say stick to the playlist. So this is how we would be solving this problem, and in the future videos I would be covering the value questions for buy and sell stock 2, 3, 4. So I would recommend you to stick to this playlist. And also if you like the video, do share, subscribe, and give the thumbs up, and also in the comment section let me know what and other problems you want me to discuss, so that we could discuss and get better day by day. Yeah, so thank you everyone.